Hello, my friends. Tiffany Carroll here, and welcome to Prosperity Infusions, digital flowers for your prosperous soul.
Mm.
That sounds so lovely. So, this is
Good.
a space where meaningful conversations can happen about true wealth and holistic abundance. And if you decide to stay and tune in, I believe, you'll be enriched through transmissions, and maybe we'll even unpack what we mean by that in this time, and inspiring prosperous stories. Oh, I have a definition right here in my notes. A transmission is a way of giving and receiving at the levels of the body, mind, and soul simultaneously. It can only happen if there's integrity, embodiment, and presence. Integrity, embodiment, and presence. And certainly that's what Sharon and I are going to be orienting ourselves around and with. And Sharon, so the prosperity infusions thus far, I think we've had 4 conversations, maybe 3. But
Yeah.
Sharon, I'll introduce you a little bit in case somebody's hopping on just now to this one. And then you can share anything more that you want to share about yourself.
Great.
Well, here you are looking at Sharon and me, and she's just a delightful being. You can see by looking at her and seeing the light in her eyes. She has an enormous amount of care, genuine care, love, and I would say respect for human beings and for this experience of being a human being. she Particularly when it comes to the realm of money, our relationship to money, we could say healing around money, and then coming into greater and greater prosperity as a path. This is her complete zone of genius. In terms of her background, she brings nearly 40 years of expertise in accounting, specializing in tax preparation, strategic tax planning, and cash flow management for individuals and businesses. So that may sound interesting to you or boring to you, but what I love about it is that she has 40 years of experience in very sort of tangible realms with money. And then add on top of that she's a she's tapped into the metaphysics of money. She's tapped into that. And the fact that she's tapped into that and can weave that way of talking and understanding with money into this more tangible things that we can see and touch is the biggest treasure that I find with her, practically and on every level.
Me too.
Isn't it cool?
It's the coolest thing ever. I think one of the reasons why I was drawn to the accounting field is, first of all, I'm a Virgo. Black and white. I like it. It's like putting a puzzle together, black and white. There's no gray involved. It either balances or it doesn't. But I think the reason why I was put in the accounting field, um, is to bring that level of money mediumship into the human experience so that we can transcend what's happening right now on the planet right now. Like with anything that you see that's wrong or bad, um, you can always 99% of the time tie it back to money behavior, right? So the part that I love about it is that I've had so many years in the practicable sense, but I've also, through having appointments with so many people, like I've learned about the human being and the struggles around the human has around money. And there's nothing that's insurmountable that can't be fixed or repaired. It's what the mind tells us about the money and the damage that keeps us stuck, right? So what I get excited about is untangling that message that's being that old tape that's not serving us. Like, how do we untangle that so that we can tap into the human experience on an aerial view? Like, why are we here? What is this experience? Why is it here to serve us? Life doesn't happen to us, it's happening for us. Like, how do we? So that's what I love about having all those years of practical experience around helping entrepreneurs and day-to-day individuals like transcend, get all their tax shit done, of course, and apply. We have to abide by the rules because we don't want to go to jail, right? But then transcend and combine that practicality with the human existence so that we can expand into the prosperity we were meant to have. Does that make sense?
It makes total sense. And it's a brilliant segue into the introduction of the topic,
Yeah.
because we're going to talk about prosperity and explore what that is, how it is, maybe what it feels like. Do you want to hold on, let me feel for the question, because I do feel so. Oh, I can you hear Kiara crying? I just heard her start crying. Rory's out there. Okay, good. Uh, actually, that I'm going to take that as my cue for the question. So here's I don't know exactly how the question is going to come out, but here's the context. When you hear a baby cry, it's like it's unmistakable. It calls your attention to it, and oh gosh, this is going to be cool. I think how this is going to lead us into something. So Kiara's my, for anyone that doesn't know, she's my almost 2-year-old daughter, and she's taking swimming lessons right now from this lovely woman down the street. And the other day, the woman who gives her the swimming lessons, and I mean, she's been doing this for, I don't know, 30 years or something like that. She's a master. And her whole thing is teaching babies, like little babies swimming. It's all about behavior chain. And just watching her with behavior chain and talk about behavior chain, it's helping me to understand so much more about my clients and myself. And she said the other day, so there's something that Kiara's really learning right now, which is to go into starfish. Starfish is when you lay flat on your back in the water, legs out, arms out, and you float. It's her safety position, right? So if she should fall into the water and not totally know how to swim yet, she can go into this and just float. So Mary, the swimming teacher, told Rory, my husband, don't teach Kiara or practice starfish with Kiara when you're taking her swimming yet. I want her to do it just with me. We said, why? And she said, because I find that parents often can't differentiate the difference in their child between struggle, like they need to jump in and rescue them, versus that they're just getting into position.
Mm.
I had all of these things go off in my brain about that, particularly in relationship also to how I interface with my clients and guide my clients. But bringing this to our relationship to money and what you just spoke about beliefs, that's the beliefs that get us tangled up. You I'm going to tie a couple threads together, and it is going to make sense in a minute. When you were doing my taxes and you said something, I don't even know what it was that you said. I was afraid, I think, of how much more I owed. And you said something, and when you said it, there was a transmission that all is well. The reason why it's a transmission is because you believe it and know it through and through, and that's the frequency that you reside in.
Mm.
When we're experiencing ourselves not as prosperous beings, we're most likely in that dynamic, like a parent might get in if they're watching their kid. They think their kid's struggling because they're making noises that could be associated with struggle, and they want to hop in and save them. But maybe they're just getting into position.
Yeah.
So I think part of what is wanting maybe perhaps to get highlighted here is the process of us as humans understanding and coming to believe that we are inherently prosperous, swimming in prosperity, a
Yes.
swimming pool of prosperity. But just because that's true doesn't mean that we don't experience everything opposite of that. You know what I
Right.
mean? As we thrash about.
Yeah.
What do you get from that? I'm so
Well,
curious.
no, I love it. I I think what I want to highlight is like our feelings kind of dictate what we do in our actions, like our feelings about things dictate our actions. And that struggle is a feeling. It's a like, ew, get off me. Fight, flight, or freeze. I'm not doing that. Like, I'm not filing my taxes. Don't make me do it. They're late. Like, woo, like I can't do it. I can't do money. But really, what the
Mm,
feeling is doing is it's instructing. It's instructing us. This is what we don't feel. This doesn't feel good. Okay, so we have a little learning around this. Like, what's the struggle? What's the struggle? Is it an underlying, I don't know how to do money? I suck at money. I made a mistake 10 years ago. I'm never going to do that again. Like
mm,
it's that
mm.
underlying feeling of getting ready, like understanding that feeling of like, oh, I'm not there yet, is it's actually instruction. Like your daughter's getting instruction on how to float. It's telling us
Right.
this doesn't feel good. Okay, that's why we have emotions. So we can decide to do something different, or we can decide to torture ourselves for the rest of our lives, but we don't have to. Like
Right.
tap into that prosperous living, like you were talked about. A lot of people when they think of prosperity, they think of wealth. And it puts so much pressure on the money. Like let's take the pressure off of the money and like look at all the other pillars of prosperity, right? Gratitude, like teaching, like that struggle is actually prosperous because if we can learn from that struggle, we can step into freedom and expansion because we've learned something more about ourselves. And the more we know about us and how we tick, the better we're going to operate in the world, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's kind of what like feelings are here to help us. That struggle is here to help us, especially around money. And money, I always say money is the
Mm.
port, it's not the problem, it's the portal. It's the portal to prosperity. It's the portal to a good life. It's not, just a tool. Like it's a pretty cool tool to use. Like instead of bartering like they did, millions of years ago or hundreds of thousands of years ago, it's a tool that we can use to exchange the bartering system. So it's simpler. The problem being is that we've gotten so much mind trash around money and what it means by not having it or having or not knowing. And most of us don't think most people think they automatically should know how to do money inherently without being taught. It's like having a neurosurgeon going into the operating room without teaching him how to do surgery. It's like garbage. Like there's a lot to learn around money. Like, right?
Mm.
And so that head trash keeps us in the struggle of the positioning because we're not floating in prosperity yet. Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
I have s- I I have several questions that I want to ask you, but this yeah, I'm going to start here.
Okay.
Okay, you just said something about that metaphor that you used or analogy that you used about the neurosurgeon going in but without having learned anything yet. So immediately that brings up like, oh God, what do I need to learn about money? And then there's okay, so there's I want to just slow down for a moment and discern and sort of differentiate some things
Okay.
because I do think that this is part of what can be challenging around money is that everything either gets sort of lumped together and conflated or we get overly focused on one aspect of it without the other. And so if there because it is my experience that money is energy
Yeah.
and we flow energy. I studied Chinese medicine. I'm very aware of how chi energy flows in the body. When I touch another human body, I can feel the rivers of chi underneath my fingers. It's so cool. And because I studied the internal pathways, I can picture the internal pathways. So I have this relationship to the chi flow. I feel like I have that ability, or I can apply that ability for seeing and sensing energy to money. I can do that. But that doesn't take the place um, of basic money wisdom, or like how to work with money in the, I don't want to say real world, but in the world where we have these shared agreements about the material stuff being more valid. Like this pin is real because I can touch it and you can see it in the video, right? And we need both. So in other words, to simplify, I think that we really need a metaphysical, energetic understanding of money. And obviously we do have to understand things about how to be with money in the material world. And I guess I'll just leave it there. What do you want to say about that, and how your opinion of that, how you think we can work with both of those?
Yeah, I think the more understanding you have around how well you or don't, how well you work or how well you don't work with money, the better. So what, like, there are lots of moving parts. So, um, hmm. So money's a tool. Like with any tool, we need to learn how to use it. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So where do we feel most expansive when we think about money, and how do we need to track it? Like, where do we need to hold it? Where do we need to spend it? Um, and how do we need to
Mm,
have that in order so that we can feel freedom? It's not about having more. It's about
mm,
knowing where it is, how it's moving, like how it's flowing in and how it's flowing out. Flowing in and flowing out, right? A lot of people they can bring it in, but it goes out way bigger than, they're not in they're because they got a mind cluster F going on around money. They're not keeping track of what's going on. And I'm not talking about budgeting. I'm just talking about knowing what's coming in and what's going out and
it's
what,
like an awareness. It's a
yes.
presence and awareness.
And that's where the energy is flowing. Like that's
Mm-hmm.
part of the energy. And also, in terms of building wealth, that's also prosperous in that if you have wealth set aside for you, or you'll have a sense of freedom with that money coming in and coming out. And with the awareness of knowing what you have, and if you have a sense that you want to build it so that you feel freedom, um, then that's part of the money education as well. How do I build?
Mm-hmm.
Like, so now if the money's gone out too much, you've got credit card debt. That doesn't feel good. It's that feeling, ugh, I'm floating, I'm struggling. The part of the education around that piece is, all right, I'm going to make a decision to reduce or relieve that debt. How am I going to do that in the flow, in the highest good of myself and in service to myself, to get rid of the debt, not because it's bad, because it's not bad. It's a teacher. It's here to teach us about our behavior, right? Debt is just um, an outward sign of our choices. Like I have a lot of debt right now because they're my choices to invest in what I believe in.
Mm-hmm.
And I have so strongly believe in what I'm doing in terms of being of service and helping people with the awareness around this. I am willing to bank my money on it. Even if
Wow.
it, even if it doesn't work, I know it is working and it works, but I'm willing to step out off that cliff and say, I'm banking on myself and on the other humans. That humans need this, they need help. So that debt for me is evidence that I'm backing myself. So,
Yeah.
right, does that,
Yes, I love that. And I love that you gave that example.
yeah.
Were you completing a thought there?
I think the money piece has to be labeled as expansion and personal evolution rather than restriction around stupidity. Did
Ooh.
you know what I mean? Does that make sense? Like,
Yeah, yeah.
frame it as an expansion tool to not only expand, like if we expand our wealth, it means we can do more in the world. We can experience more, we can help more, we can, we can do what we value the most because we have more expansion with our finances, instead of staying stuck with I don't know how to do this piece, right?
And then freezing.
And freezing. And
Hmm.
oh, let's look at this as an expansion. Don't be
Mm-hmm.
afraid in it. Like here, it's here to serve me.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That
Mm-hmm.
kind of softens this fear, the fear around it. So yeah.
Oh, it's so beautiful, Sharon, really. What we're talking about and the way that we're talking about it, it's really the reason why it's so beautiful is because it is the soil of liberation in relationship to money. I mean, how we're talking about it, I think we're talking about it in a pretty grounded way, but we are including the metaphysics as I think it ought be to be a complete embodied journey understanding with money. We're all in a journey understanding with money. I mean, even though you've been doing what you've been doing for these years, all these years, and you have all this mastery, money still teaches you things every day, I would imagine. Money teaches me things every day. I have a spiritual teacher once who said, if you want to see what you do with your energy, look at where you spend your time and money. So we don't always know what we do with our energy, consciously. But if you want to reflect upon it, look what you do with your money and your time.
And what's interesting about building wealth is if you pay attention to where the outflow is, you'll make better choices about where it should be going instead.
Can you give an example or say a little bit more about that?
Well, I helped a woman entrepreneur in business. She's been in business for a long time. She's been hiding. She hides. Um, uh, she hides around reporting wealth. Uh, no judgment on that. But I was
Mm-hmm.
like, let's come out into the light. She was new
Mm-hmm.
to me.
Mm-hmm.
So let's come into the light and see what's actually happening. Like, do you know what you're spending your money on?
Oh, because she had gotten so used to keeping it
Yeah.
hidden.
Yeah.
Okay, okay, got it.
Like, yeah. How do
Not
you
wanting it to be seen.
not wanting it to be seen so she could get benefits that she's getting and
Right, right. I totally get that.
right. So, and I said, I always say, let's look at the truth and then make a decision.
So,
Like, let's look and see where you are. And the amount of wealth that was coming in was astounding, the amount of income. And the amount of money that was going out was equally as astounding. Like the money that, for somebody who has of the age that she's at, which is, mid to late 60s with no retirement plan or, nothing to back her at that age. It's a little scary, actually. And then so to see how much money is coming in and then how much money is being gifted out to her family because she feels guilty.
mm-hmm.
Thousands, like 30, $40,000 a year going out because of the undercurrent of wanting to be, you know, the person, the like the savior, the mom should. And so the awareness around just that function of what was coming in and what was going out uh, made her, what's interesting, she decided to continue to hide. She didn't want to keep, she didn't want it, she wanted to continue to do that. But at least it made her aware of how much money she really was earning. So she kind of felt like a badass.
Mm,
Good. And then she really knew that where the money was going was what she cared about. And she was okay
mm,
with that. She trusts that the universe is going to cover her, and
mm-hmm.
it always has. And so, yeah, just knowing what's happening. Now, some people will go, oh my God, I spent $30,000 on or $25,000 on takeout. I'm going to be packing my lunch from now on and save $25,000 and put it toward the education fund or a trip that we want to take. But they didn't even know it was leaking out. It's like a sieve. You've got a
Yeah.
colander and you don't, unless you know what's happening, what's going in and out, you don't know how to stop the leaks.
Yeah, that's really, really cool. I keep having all these flashes about uh,
Hey,
qigong in relationship to money. So when you study Chinese medicine, at least where I studied it, you have to take qigong, which is
yep,
the cultivation of qi movement, really, and an awareness of qi movement. That ultimately, if you practice it, you can harness doing energy healings, so that it's not like just the acupuncture needle is the tool. It's also the chi of the practitioner and their presence. And when you practice qigong doesn't really mean anything unless you're actually paying attention to energy flow.
Mm.
If you're paying attention to the energy flow, all of a sudden, you start to get kind of curious, and then you notice, and then when you notice, and then you experiment with your ability to move chi based on where you put your attention and intention, then you start to see, oh, wow, I can heat my hand up by focusing my attention here and concentrating some energy there. Wow, how cool is that? What could I do with that? So I was flashing on that when you were talking about this. It's like just an opportunity to be able to harness power.
Yeah.
And really, it's the power of the universe that moves through us that then we experiment with. But as long as we're avoiding, I know I'll speak for myself, like as long as I'm avoiding looking at money stuff because I'm afraid, I'm I'm just stuck in like when you're doggy paddling over water of like, I'm doggy paddling over all my fears that are under there. I don't know what they are. They're all unknown and they're really scary and they're chasing me. And if I stop doggy paddling, they're going to, they're going to get me. So maybe let's use this. Okay. If you feel some juice here, let's connect facing money, facing your money stuff here right now. We could even like invite people into it in this very moment because it's possible to just face it even energetically. Facing your money stuff and what that has to do with prosperity, sort of the gateway to a prosperous experience.
I love that. The thing that I don't like when people hear the word prosperity, they automatically go, it's all wealth. It's just wealth, just money. Um, so when you decide you're going to handle this money stuff because it's a tool, it's not an extension of your worth as a human being. It's just a tool to expand what you care about on the planet, right? You care about people who are hungry. You care about animals. You care about the environment. You care about, so if you put that in line with, oh, if I take care of my money, I can help the things that I care about on the planet. But if I stay restricted in that space of, if I know it's going to be bad, if I look, it's going to be bad. If we can shift from that to, I'm willing to explore the possibility of understanding my money more and using it as a source of energy and as a tool to not only help myself and the environment, then it gets exciting. Like it's not as scary, right? It's not as, it actually it can give you courage to go, I can conquer that now. It's not going to hurt me. You know, they don't have debtor's prison anymore. Nobody's going to kill me over debt. I guess unless you borrowed from a loan shark or something. But I don't even want to talk about that. You know what I mean? But if we can harness the energy of the goodness that it will bring into the world and how we came onto the planet to be whatever we came onto the planet to be, and how we can harness that energy as a tool to actually move our soul forward into the soul purpose, then harnessing, like looking at the money part becomes exciting,
Mm,
right?
mm, mm,
Yeah.
mm, 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 mm. If somebody doesn't believe what you just said, they're like, I don't know how looking at money would be exciting. I can feel what you're talking about because I've experienced it. But say somebody's right at that place where it's this combination of something that I think when I say it, you'll be like, yeah, I know that in my own experience. I certainly do. It's a combination of shame, some money shame, mixed with probably a little regret and maybe some resentments peppered over here. And then just the downright fear of like, I can't look into this because I don't know if I can handle what it means. Where is the first, what's the first thing that you would have them do, say to themselves, practice?
We're only human beings and we're doing the best we can. And you've done the best you can up until today. And now that you know that money is just a tool, start from there. No judgment.
Mm,
Shame is a useless emotion, except it helps to steer us away from what we don't want. So if you have shame, great. Yes. If you have fear, great. Yes. We know we don't, it doesn't feel good. So yay, it doesn't feel good. So yay, you're a human being. It's your inner GPS telling you what you don't want. I have never known exactly what I wanted until I learned what I didn't want first. So
mm,
celebrate the fact that you're uncomfortable, but you're willing to look. And there's nothing, even if the picture is horrible financially, like start today to clean it up. That's it, one step at a time, one day at a time. I have seen people overcome millions of dollars of debt, like only because they started to make the decision and they started to make a plan. So you start with that and embrace the fact that shame is here to help. It's here to serve, it's here to protect, it's here to awaken alive in us to make a different decision. It's our inner compass. Like we have
mm.
intuition in our emotional guidance system. It's telling us to go a different way. And so take a breath and say, thank you, shame. Thank you, fear. Thank you for discomfort. I hear you. Please step aside so I can get at the task at hand, right? And as soon as you get at the task at hand, you're telling your inner self, I've heard you. I've got this. I'm taking action. And the shame and the
Mm,
grief and the remorse and the shouldas and the you wouldas start to get quieter because you start to believe yourself. You start to
mm.
trust yourself because you're beginning to take action. But it starts with where you are right here today, right? Um,
That's so powerful, everything you just said. Really, really cool.
we're here, we're in human school. That's it. Human university. Sometimes it's just uncomfortable.
Hmm.
Yeah.
This is what's coming, so I'm going to trust it. But number of years ago, I, I don't know, it's maybe 4 years ago now, I spoke at the Bitcoin conference, like I was a satellite speaker at the Bitcoin conference in Miami. And it was the first one that I had gone to. And I'm very enthusiastic about Bitcoin, what it represents and what it makes possible. And so I was so excited to go to this event and talk to other people that were enthusiastic about it as well. And I got VIP passes so I could be in the VIP area. And I I wasn't aware that this thought was there until after the fact, because it wasn't a thought that I was thinking. It was more like, beliefs are like pre-thought. Your thoughts spin off of the beliefs that are sort of imprinted in there, right? So it was that people that have a lot of money are financially free. They're free. People that have a lot of money are prosperous. If you have, I'll say it one more way. If you have a lot of money, you are therefore then prosperous. They equal each other. And even at that time, I would have described, if you would ask me, Tiffany, what do you think of, how would you define prosperity? I wouldn't have just bound it to money. I would have talked about it as a state of being. But nevertheless, in there was automatic. If you have a lot of money, you're prosperous. You're living in prosperity. And I, in this VIP, with these VIP passes, mingled with some people that had unfathomable amounts of money that, pulled up in their huge mega yachts to be at this event. And I mean, I'm by my background and by trade, a healer, by everything that I mean, I studied science, but then I studied all of these different techniques and modalities within the healing arts. And so my extrasensory senses are continually tuned in to where where energy, physical, mental, and emotional energy wants to move in order for there to be healing or resolution within a person. So in other words, I can feel when a person's sick, and
Mm.
there is a we could call, there is a form of sickness that is just the sickness of being continually in a field of lack, in a context of lack. That's a kind of sickness. And I was with these people, I'm generalizing now, which can always get you in trouble, but just to make a point, I'm with people who have gazoodles of money, more than I can fathom, and I can feel their sickness. They weren't swimming in prosperity. They weren't swimming in prosperity. And I could, like, I actually couldn't quite make sense of it at first. I thought I was perceiving things wrong. I was sensing things wrong. And it was after it all happened and I had time to just sit with it, I realized, oh shit, there's this belief that I had that this just blew out of the water. Financial freedom is not connected to a money in the bank, amount of money in the bank, and the amount of money that's in the bank or that you have is not going to guarantee you prosperity, meaning being the embodiment of prosperity, being in prosperity. So, yeah, what do you want to riff off
I've
there?
seen some of the poorest rich people. I've met some of the poorest rich people. I just broke my heart. Like honestly, they may have financial like money in the bank, but they had no freedom. They had no freedom. And prosperity is a mindset in terms of um, bringing in an expansion and health and gratitude and joy and celebrating what is here today, and envisioning a better tomorrow. That's where the freedom comes in. The If you don't have that awareness or that inner, like if your insides aren't filled up with prosperous thinking, it can be a hole in which you think money is going to solve the problem, and money never solves the problem. It's not the money, it's the mindset. I don't know if I'm making any sense around that, but if you have a hole in your soul, there's no amount of money that's going to fix that.
Yes, yes.
No amount of more of anything, of travel, of boats, of yachts, of bigger bank accounts, is going to fix that hole in the soul. And that's probably what you tapped into, is the lack
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
of spirit. Like, what a
Mm-hmm.
waste.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, what a waste.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah.
My goodness. But that's what they're here to learn, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe at the end of,
And
anyway.
I think part of the reason why I think it's powerful for us to bring this up right now with everything that we've covered so far is that you're not saying, nor am I saying, that we want to help people with their relationship of money, with their relationship to money, to make more money, because then the making of the more money will be the solution to what they're experiencing. That's actually not what you and I are saying. And that's important to actually look at. It's quite liberating when you do that, because then you go, oh, I mean, for me, part of what that brought in is like, I can want to make and flow and grow more money just because I want to, because it feels good. And because ultimately I connect it to what you highlighted, which is that's how I expand my vision of goodness in the world.
It's fun.
And it's fun. And I'm not pinning my happiness on the money, which always makes it harder to come into right relationship with it because it's too much pressure. It's like when you're in a relationship with a lover or a partner and you're pinning all of your happiness on them. Good Lord. I mean, not only does it really hurt the relationship, but it's like you can't ever get what you want that way.
Yeah, exactly. I love that.
So okay, let's come into to some summary with I'm going to flow from that into this idea of the field of prosperity, prosperity being a field, and yeah, a field. So if money is not the solution to the problem, and every problem is figure outable, and understanding money as a tool, and then how to work with that tool through cultivating our energy relationship to money, if all of that's true, which has been my experience that those things are true, then what are we actually focusing on to feel more abundant? And I think that what we could say, I'm going to see how this sounds when it comes out of my mouth, is that we're focusing on prosperousness or prosperity. And as we focus on that with intention of illuminating it, cultivating it, growing it, it's not just money, it's prosperity, that we actually have the experience of feeling more abundant, feeling more rich. And the natural result of that, unless we're just blocking it, is that more money is going to come and flow.
Yep. It's a spiritual awakening. It's a soul expansion. Prosperity is it's a soul expansion. It's why we're here. We're here to come in onto the planet and experience, the instead of instead of being a human being having a soulful experience, you're a soul having a human experience, right? It's expanding what you came here to do. Like if you can look at it from the aerial view, right? Like money's not the problem, it's the portal. It's the portal to expansion. It's the portal to change. And it's not about the money. It's about the change. It's about the expansion uh, of our humanness, of our souls. It's about evolution. It's about deciding we don't like what we see on the planet right now. So we're going to change our environment. So it will be the pebble in the pond to help change the environment.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So why don't we end with, if you want to play this little game with me
Yes, I
right
do.
now? Are you on the edge of your seat? Because I
Yeah.
didn't tell you this ahead of time. Uh, why don't we each share 1 to 3 things that we do, that we practice to put us into prosperity, the field, recognizing ourselves in the field of prosperity. I want to articulate that better. Prosperity is an ever-present field. It's I call it sometimes the truth of abundance. It just is. It's the nature of the stuff of the universe. We are inherently our physical bodies are inherently prosperous, like constantly working and turning over and things happening. It's prosperous in here. So that exists. It's not a question of if the field of prosperity exists, but either I'm tuned into it or I'm not tuned into it. So a couple of tools that we each practice to tune us into it when we're not tuned into it. Do you want to go first or second?
I'll go first.
Or we could go like this, ding, ding. We
Let's
could
do
play
that.
ping pong. Okay, let's go.
Yeah. The first thing I do before I even put my feet on the floor is I have gratitude for my body
Mm,
and that I get to live another day.
mm, so beautiful.
Yeah.
I have a similar one where before I get out of bed in the morning, I put one hand over my heart and the other hand over my womb area. And I just start saying, I love you, I love you, I love you in my head, usually because I'm Kiara and Rory are still asleep. And I say, I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you. I'm saying it to myself. And I just feel it, feel it, feel it, feel it. And then I start imagining it. I'm directing it at the people that are close to me, to Rory, Kiara, I love you, love you, love you, to my family, to the people that are my close sphere, until I go out where I'm not naming names or seeing distinct people, but just my entire community, and then the human community, family at large. And then when I slip out of bed, I'm just like glowing with this. It is abundance. And it is glowing and it is golden.
Yeah. I'm gonna start doing that. I love that. I just felt like I just expanded it's like my practice is puny compared to yours. I think I got a puny, I gotta really beef up my practice now. That's awesome. I love you. I love you. I love you. Oh
I
my God,
love you, love you, love you, love you.
goosebumps. Like, wow, I actually did ode to my body. Like I was telling it all the things I was grateful for
Mm,
a couple of years ago because I woke up with a headache and I had to say, I love you. You're so, and of course the headache went away. So I love that practice. I'm a little, I'm a Virgo, so I'm a go-to guy. Check, check, check.
okay.
So I actually have a gratitude list and a prosperity list that I have running every day,
Mm,
just to be reminded. And I'm actually the room in which I'm doing it is a sunroom, so I'm surrounded by nature. So
mm,
that usually brings in um, the energy of the gratitude and the prosperity, that I have
Mm.
to be reminded of the things that are already present. Yeah.
Yes. Okay, good. I'll ping on, I'll take that volley and say that, and as you know, because we've had a lot of conversations about uh, uh, my money realities at the moment, and the because I have also taken on more debt than I've had in quite a while. Actually, I have more debt right now than I've ever had in my life. And the relationship to it is far different than the relationship I had to debt when I was in my early 20s and I racked up all this credit card debt without knowing what it really meant and what the rules of that sort of game were until I realized that if I kept making the monthly minimum payment, I would never actually have it paid off. That was before I think they changed the laws around minimum payments. But um, so it's a real thing. It's a real thing. Like money fear is a real thing. It when it comes over, it takes hold of your nervous system and it's real. And so I find that if I'm really gripped by it, I need to, I can't do anything money related because it's just not going to be fruitful. It's not like I can look at how much, if I try looking at how much money is coming in and going out when I'm in the money fear, it's just not a good idea. So I can meditate or I can do a self hypnosis track or something like that. But usually I just have to let it all go for a day until I'm in a new state. But if there is some room in there to just shift the focus to what's there, even if what's there is very little, or even if relatively speaking, or if what's there is less than what's owed out at the moment, but I still just celebrate that it's there, that shifts the energy and then I'm not in avoidance. So that's another powerful practice because then I'm in the immediately as soon as we shift into what's there in the gratitude, we're in the field of prosperity. We're tuned into the field of prosperity, wouldn't you say?
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to piggyback off of that. Another
Mm-hmm.
practice that I have is I tap into my guides, my people, the people that I hear voices on, and no, I'm not a schizophrenic.
I know you're not.
But especially when I have financial stuff, because I too have a lot of debt. I've never had debt like this before in my life because I'm investing in the future. And that's where I've learned to kind of lean into trusting myself, like asking for help, trusting all of the decisions that I've made up until this point, and then leaning into the universal support and not being such a goddamn control freak
Mm-hmm.
on how am I going to fix this, right? And really leaning into asking for help and
And so
let
how do you do that in case anyone's wondering, like, well, how are you
how
leaning
do I
into the
do that?
universe? And yeah, how do you do it
I,
practically?
I just practically say, here it is.
It's like a
It's
prayer or something.
like a prayer. It's like I have to like literally take it visually and go, here you go. This is too big for
Mm,
me right now, and I need support so that I can actually live my life and do the mission that I meant to do. Here it is. It's yours. It's not that I'm gonna, and I'm not gonna
mm,
spend another $25,000 on some stupid shit. I'm not doing that.
mm-hmm.
Handing it over. And it's
Handing it
like
over.
standing and some there's another visual that can go with that as well. It's like Kiara swimming. I walk if it's really heavy that day. I see universal energy as a stream of good consciousness. So I will
Mm.
literally walk into the warm stream, gentle stream of good consciousness that's deep enough for me to actually sit down, lie back, and float and say, I trust you. Take care of this. It's too big for me today. And just let go. And I automatically feel better. Like,
Oh, so good.
yeah,
I'm so glad you shared that one.
yeah.
I really, really am. Okay, let me see if I have a third one that's coming through. Simple practice to connect to the field of abundance. Ah, here's one. It's really simple, and I do this is funny too. Um, okay, so when one of the telltale signs that I'm in lack or scarcity field is that I get irritated. I'm irritable. I'm irritable, and I get irritated, especially with the people that I'm closest to. So I instead of looking at Rory with my love and admiration that I actually feel for him, I just look at him like, I'm just so annoyed with him. I'm annoyed with everything that he did, that he did. Why does he always do that? And as soon as that starts happening, because it feels so gross, it just feels so gross. Like I don't want to feel that way and think that way. I play this game where I look at him and listen to him as if I've never met him before. Because isn't it true, like when you go out and you've never met this person before, and you just start talking to them, and they're just so lovely, they're just so lovely, and you're lovely, and this da da da, it's nice. I watch people do this with my mother. They'll meet her for the first time and talk to her, and they just like, oh, she's such a lovely person. And, of course, when I'm in my stuff, all I can see is what I want to nitpick about her. But then I see, oh, if it's possible for other people to be in this pure delight around her, then I should be able to do that too with anybody and anything that I want to do it with. So this thing of like just swiping, erasing the board, erase the whole board. If you didn't know anything that you knew before, if you couldn't remember anything of the past, and you were just looking at this person or this thing for the first time, what would it be like? That almost always puts me right into prosperity, because as a human, I think it's natural for us to be curious and delight in the novel. Look at
Yeah.
kids. Kiara does it all day long. It's totally natural for her to delight in the novel. She's learning all of her words right now. So every time she just repeats everything we say. The other day we taught her right on. We taught her ta-ta, yes, right on. And she just repeats them back, and she's so thrilled about it.
That's awesome. I
That's
love
my
that
third one.
practice. I actually did that practice yesterday with my husband, and it was a totally different experience. I've been
Mm-hmm.
with him for 30 years. You think I would have figured this out a long time ago? We had a great meeting with the doctor because I was looking at him
Mm.
differently. I love that.
Mm.
And the trigger is the anxiety around the spouse or the partner or whatever. It's the anxiety, it's the angst, it's the discomfort. I love that. Looking at them with fresh eyes.
Fresh
Beautiful.
eyes. We do
Yeah.
that with money too.
Yep.
Like if we didn't have the backstory, what would it be like?
Yeah. Exactly.
Um, last thing I'll say that for closing words for me, and then we'll just let people know how they can hear more about you and what you have coming up around the bend, is the field of prosperity is ever present. It's always accessible to us. We can choose it or not. And in fact, in every moment, we are choosing it or not. It's just sometimes we're conscious of that choice point. And we don't have to earn being admitted into the field of prosperity. We don't have to prove ourselves worthy to be admitted into the field of prosperity, because the field of prosperity is who we are and what we are. So it's really a recognition that we get to choose in any moment that we can.
Beautiful. Amen.
Amen. All right. Why don't you share, Sharon, about what you have coming up and how
Okay,
people, because I intend to post this recording
great.
pretty
Great, great,
fast.
great. So it's October 2025. So I have two things coming up. I have a free 5-day training called the Prosperity Shift.
Whoop, whoop.
It was actually downloaded from my guides. Like I had my own agenda and they had theirs, and I'm going with theirs. And so it's about getting into the aerial view, into the bigger vision. What's stopping us? How can we transform that? And what are the habits we want to employ to be able to step into that prosperous living every single day? So we can step into that prosperous
Mm.
life. It's so exciting. It's free. And then there's a VIP thing if you want to join, and we'll talk more with the guides and see what they have to say. But so
Ooh,
that's
that's cool.
yeah, that's kind of cool. And then in November, the
Wow.
Prosperity Method is a program that's going to be, and it's about the same thing, but we go more deeply into money beliefs. Like, how do we harness the intuition, emotional guidance system, all of the ancestry stuff, the money thoughts, and actually and flip them to be of service to us to move forward, and then habit stack on things to actually step us into a prosperous life, so you can actually see it appear in your life, and expand all that stuff. So that's what's coming up. I'm kind of excited,
Wow.
gotta tell you. Yeah.
I'm excited too.
Yeah.
Okay, and then for me, I want to point anybody who's listening to this at any point in time to the Lumina Guild, which is where it's all happening right now for me. And there's plenty there for you in relationship to money, prosperity, emergent creation, and artful living. And the links I'll put all the links in the show notes, including for yours, Sharon. Anything else?
Just get started today.
Mm,
We're all worth it. We need you. Like
mm.
whoever's listening, we need you to get started. We need, let's get some support. Let's like Lumina Guild, support and a new way of thinking. Like let's get started today together. Like,
Oof,
yeah,
so good. All right. Thank you, Sharon. Thank you, everybody who's listening now and at any point.
thank you.
Sending so much love. But Sharon, stay on. I'm just going to hit stop recording.